Good evening, everybody. It is Eric Taylor, BigEAstrology, episode 161 of my Knowledge is Love Astrology podcast. And tonight, I have a very special, amazing guest, Miss Amy Robeson, who, oh my God, an Akashic Records reader and teacher, DNA activations, light language, shadow and trauma work healer. I mean, I can go on and on. How are you this evening, my dear friend, Amy? How are you?
I'm so good, Eric. How are you?
Oh, I'm so excited to officially meet you and have you on the show and all this good stuff and to share you with my audience who is just, they're the best and they love to learn and meet different healers and light workers and all different types of people that come on to my show. And of course, I like to tie everything in to the astrology.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, I will share Miss Amy, you guys, is a Libra rising, as we can all see, because she is a natural beauty, and that Aries sun in the 7th house. So I want to start from the beginning. Young Amy, what was it like growing up in your home? And in terms of all this that you are now, could you have ever imagined or envisioned this? And were some of your gifts nurtured by your parents?
So my grandma was an astrology reader, a tarot card reader. And she taught me how to do tarot at a young age. My mom was the type of person that we weren't religious, but she said you don't need to go to church in order to believe in God. You can believe in God. And then we always talked about different things growing up. Like my mom had a gift of knowing when people would transition and she would help them to the light. She was a nurse. And so if someone transitioned, she would know exactly when they would pass away because they would visit her. And if it was at nighttime, and then she would go and check the chart at work, and sure thing, it would always be the time that they would come and visit her in the middle of the night if they transitioned at nighttime. And so those things were like a common thing to talk about. And it wasn't until I was older that I didn't realize that most families didn't talk about those things, where it was just like common. It didn't feel weird. It didn't feel odd. It didn't feel like anything. And even my step family growing up, they were very open to spirituality. And I don't think that we used like words like intuition or anything like that back then. We were just very into different things. And we talked about things like my grandma, like even would say, we have a ghost in the house, or like she lived in like an old mining town, and her old house, I believe, was like an old saloon. And so you could hear like the old saloon music. And so like there's different things that were just like, they were normal conversations that weren't ever like batted an eye, like that they were weird or strange. But growing up, like I would have like premonitions or dreams of things that would happen. Like I had a dream like when I was 4 that my mom brought home this like lemon knickknack, and that she had it on the coffee table, and then it broke. Well, a couple years later, we were at this new house that we lived in. She brought home the lemon knickknack, and it broke. And so like I would have like little average day occurrence types of premonitions. Like, because when people hear premonition, they think, oh, it's something bad's going to happen, or this major life event's going to happen. No, like the type of premonitions I have are
like practical and mundane life. And
like they're very normal, like things to see on your timeline that are just like everyday like things. And so I know that the first time I had something that I was like, whoa, that was really strange, when I was like maybe it was like 10. I don't remember the exact age, but we were going to go visit my step family in Texas. And I remember just being so excited because we never went on vacation as a kid. And so I just remember being so excited to go on vacation. We were going to leave the state. We're going to drive all the way from Wisconsin to Texas. And I remember going to bed that night, and I had a dream that of what the house looked like, who opened the door, that there was a queen mattress in the living room, that the house was near a railroad track.
Wow.
And I've never seen a picture of this house, never been to this house. Like, this was my stepfather's grandparents.
Okay.
And so I knew nothing about this. I've never left my state ever. And so we got there 24 hours later, and the exact person answered the door. The house looked exactly the same. There was a queen size
Whoa.
mattress in the living room ready
Oh
for us
my
to come
gosh.
on. And so, it's those little things that happen, that I love those little things. And that was like the first time that I ever remember, like, wow, that was so strange that just happened.
Right.
But I didn't think much of it. It was just like, oh, okay, no big deal.
So you just said like an amazing spiritual and astrological mouthful. And you guys, hello to everyone in the chat. We're gonna
Hi,
get to you. We're
everyone.
gonna get to you guys soon and stuff. So, but okay. Keyword vacation, 10 years old, and that sort of dream and vision.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, you guys, has Uranus, Sagittarius, third house. That just described everything you said, including the stepfather and the family. And I'm just like, I love these real life stories and different things that highlight the gifts of all the people that come on. And this is one in terms of your writing and learning and communicating, and even those elementary school years, that Uranus and Sagittarius, it really speaks to that spiritual awakener and the freedom and liberation and the exploration, but getting these like downloads and visions literally like of a trip.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so right in line with Uranus third house Sagittarius, kind of along with like what you said about the saloon and the ghosts, because you guys, Amy has the Jupiter and Neptune in Capricorn in the fourth house. So building to kind of like where you are now through the high school, college years, like what was your kind of like 3D world job? And then what got you into Amy Robeson now?
Yeah. So in high school, I grew up in a really strict household. My stepdad was very, very strict. And so the second I could get a job, I got a job. And I worked, because being out of my house meant safety, and also it meant freedom. And so, like, for me, I worked the second I could work. I worked full time. And then at the time, my mom got, so like my teenage years, I have two different phases of my life. Before my parents got a divorce, and after my parents got a divorce. And so the second my life really started to begin when my parents got a divorce, because I was allowed to do things. And so I was able to go out and have fun and do things with friends. And I wasn't a bad kid. It's just my stepdad was very protective and didn't want us to get into trouble, or didn't want anything to happen to us. And he was a severe alcoholic, so we're dealing with that as well. And so
and that's the Neptune in the fourth house. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Okay.
So for me, once my parents got a divorce, and I love my stepdad, it's just being an alcoholic. It's a disease. It's a disorder, and it's hard. It's hard on everyone. Yeah. And so when my parents got a divorce, I worked so I could have anything that I wanted in terms of like, I wanted a car, I paid for that car. If I wanted this, I wanted clothes, I paid for that. I paid for my school and paid for all that stuff, so that I could create the life that I really wanted. And I knew that sky was the limit. Like, if I thought it was possible to do, I was going to do it. And there was nothing that was going to hold me back from doing it, except my own fears. And so if I got caught in a cycle of fear, if I can't see something, if I can't see through it, I can't take action on it. So that's just my personality in general. If I could see through what I need to do, I'll go and do it. Otherwise, I kind of just like, I'm sitting there spinning my wheels, stuck in the mud. And so as a teenager, I worked my butt off. Like I had one full-time job, 3 part-time jobs, and went to school full-time in college. So I could go to college, and then I got like a big girl job when I turned 21. And I knew when I got my big girl job that I wasn't going to do it forever, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. Again, if I can't see where the through line is, I don't know what to do. And so when I met my husband and moved to Charleston, I was like, because I went back to college, I got my degree, I thought I was going to go and sell medical devices, and I couldn't get a job to save my life. Moving to Charleston was not on the plan. And like my first spiritual teacher said, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you just need to study. Like that's the only thing that you need to do. And so I started studying. And when I started studying is when like I just follow the energy of what presents itself to me. And if I follow it and I like it and I get a full body yes, I'm going to do it. And you know, it started with yoga, and then it started with meditation, and then it started with dream interpretation, and then it started just spiraling into this like world of spirituality that I would have never guessed in a million years that I would be sitting here talking to you or talking to anybody about this stuff or teaching it. And for me, it comes like it's just second nature. It's like, oh, this is what that is. And I've studied a lot. So it comes second nature because I studied a lot and I investigate and I look deeper into things. And if I'm curious about it, I'll continue to investigate it. And I'll be an investigator till the day I die because I love just researching and looking into things and sitting with it. Because, you know, when you sit with spiritual concepts or you sit with just spiritual practices in general and just sit with yourself, sit with your feelings, and you start getting curious, things start to naturally come up for you to take a look at. And if we can take a look at them through the lens of love, with a lot of curiosity and a lot of compassion, you can start seeing things that maybe aren't true for your soul, but were created through conditioning and created through fear. And that's the thing that I love the most about spirituality, is that things change as you get older and perceptions change, and nothing is forever. Nothing is set in stone, and you're allowed to change your mind at any point in time. And it's just really cool to witness and to experience.
That's amazing. And that very much to me really speaks to your Pisces in the 6th house, even right? The medical equipment, but then going into all the spiritual work. So tell people, you know, there's so much that you do, but let's start with like, what is the main focus of your business that people come to you for? And then we can, you know, address some of the people in the chat.
Yeah. So for me, my main focus, my main through line is always going to be the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records is one of the most amazing life tools that you can have in your toolbox. And for anybody that's watching this that doesn't know what the records are, it's an energetic field of infinite possibilities. Every word, deed, thought from the moment your soul is incepted is recorded in the Akash, and we can go into the Akashic Records and receive love and guidance and support in any and all areas of your life. And it couples well with anything. It couples well with astrology. It couples well with energy healing. It couples well with tarot. It couples well with numerology or human design or anything. And it's just really neat. And so the Akashic Records is my main thing that I talk about. I want anybody because the records start speaking to people when they're ready to start studying them and start exploring them.
Right.
I would assume that's similar to maybe astrology. Is that the case, Eric?
Yeah, I think, what you're alluding to is so true in the sense of like almost remembering, like it's like a past life connection, right? And for you have the Aquarius in the 5th house, and that kind of taps you in to the remembrance of this and the esoteric knowledge. And then for me, I've got the Pisces in the 5th house, and it's sort of the same thing, and my North Node is there. So I really, as I started to kind of get back into astrology and then jumped in and started to study to become a professional, it was just like, it just like poured. And it was just like, I was learning it at a rate, and really I realize now remembering it faster than like made sense, excuse me. So it was just like beautiful. And, so for you, in terms of your own spiritual guidance and intuition, when you're doing the Akashic records, does that kind of lead in to the DNA activation with clients, the light language? Like, explain that to us.
So for me, I do everything. Like, so if I'm do a healing, a meditation, an activation, an attunement, I'm doing it in the records. Okay. And even like if I take a course from someone, like I'm studying that course in the record, so I understand it from my perspective, from my soul's gifts and abilities and things like that. And so for me, I like along the way, I collect tools or I'm guided to do something. So for example, like when like the guardians, the masters, teachers, and loved ones of my Akashic records are like, you're going to start speaking light language. I'm like, I don't want to start speaking light language. And they're like, just go ahead, go. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. Like, it's weird. I don't want to do it. Like,
right. The Aries sun and Aries Venus is like, no.
Yeah, no. And, but I just like, it just kept coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. And so I was just like, finally, I'm like, all right, let me do it. And it was insane when I first started channeling light language publicly. Like the response was crazy because people are very interested in it. Like, and I didn't realize how interested, because it was just something that I remembered once I started speaking it as an adult, that my older sister and I would speak light language to each other. And we had our own language when we were little, and we completely understood what one another was saying. And then I was like, oh, we used to do this, like this.
Wow.
And then, and the cool thing about light language is if you listen to someone or watch someone use light language in any of the formats, it can activate your light language too. So a lot of times my Sacred Awakening students, which is my Akashic Record program, they'll like, because I do the activations and the healings and the attunements in the course, I always infuse light language in them. And so a lot of students, and not every student, but I'll have students that will like come to me and they're like, Amy, like I'm starting, like I can feel my light language starting to come out. And so, and then I just had student after student tell me this, and I'm like again, I'm just following.
Okay, stop. You got to share. I want to hear some light language, and I want to like feel it and maybe communicate with the audience a little. Let me read a couple of these comments. I know you said you want me to read them. Oh, sure. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Interested in finding out about the records. I've been curious about it since I've done my so-called awakening experience a few years ago. That's very, very normal.
Oh, and who's that? Who is that?
Audra.
Oh, yes. Audra's great. Yes, Audra.
And I'm sorry, sweetie, if I'm saying your name wrong.
No, Audra died, yeah.
And then someone said, my girlfriend took Amy's Akashic Record course and said it was wonderful. Would love to take it one day. Yay. I would love for you to take that, my dear. Yes, remembering, wow, where is the chart? Is all that drive, multiple jobs in school. I don't know where in the chart that is.
Well, okay. So, okay. Listen, okay. She's got Taurus and Mercury in the 8th house. So she was about being independent and making that money. Okay. That's number one right there. But, that need for freedom, right? Remember how Amy just said, right? It's not a knock on the stepdad, but just with the Jupiter, Neptune, 4th house, there were things going on in the home. And that Uranus, Sagittarius, 3rd house, it made her feel alive when she was being independent, right? And being her unique, weird, bizarre self. Even as she mentioned, she remembered communicating with her sister. Well, it's the Pluto, Mars, and I believe Saturn in her second house in Scorpio, speech, family values, but the Uranus Sagittarius. Uranus, you guys, is where our soul in this lifetime, right, is seeking the freedom and liberation to break social norms, to fracture structures, And she was like, I'm going to work, making my own dollars, making my own cents. You know what I mean? And I'm sure for you, you felt liberated when you did that, correct?
Oh, yeah, I totally did. Because no one was going to tell me what I could do and what I couldn't do. I had my own money and I could do it. And, my first job was waitressing. And so I would beg my GM if I could just have as many hours as he would give me.
Wow.
And, back then, you're 16 years old, you're making like $100 or $200 a night. That's a lot of money back then.
Oh, yeah. That's very Jupiter Capricorn, you guys. She was like, and see, a lot of people don't get this, right? Jupiter at home in Sag and Pisces, it does well in a myriad of signs, at least 5 or 6. But at home in Sag and Pisces, exalted in Cancer. So that tells you it's in its full in Capricorn. But don't think that that's a bad placement. Many people who have Jupiter and Capricorn are not only extremely successful, but it becomes part of their philosophy and wisdom and beliefs, right? And their fortune to strive and achieve and to climb the ladder to make something out of their lives for success. So that's where astrology can show you that sometimes, you guys, if you have placements that you think are, quote unquote, bad or negative, they're really not. It's just different energies that you have to work with in different ways.
I love this, Eric. I love learning about different placements because, again, astrology doesn't land in my brain the way it lands in your brain. I think it's awesome. Lisa said, awesome, thank you, Uranus and Sag. And then Michael said, hi, everybody. Hello.
Hey, okay. You guys.
So you said that you wanted me to do, I'm curious, whoever's on here watching this live, give me one word that would you would like to feel. And I'm going to just take a couple of those words. So it's if you want joy or love or happiness, abundance.
Yeah, you guys type that in the chat.
Type that in the chat. And then as we're, and you can take your time doing it. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of do a little mini healing meditation. And then we'll infuse some light language in there as well.
I like peace. I need peace.
Peace, blast,
I need peace.
Empowerment.
Oh, I've got a lot of children.
Receiving. Well, someone else said they needed peace too, so I know you wanted peace, abundance,
amen,
joy. So what I'm going to do is all of these things that you guys are saying, I'm going to infuse them all in the light language itself. And so know that whatever little mini meditation healing that we're going to do, if it's not geared towards what you're saying, I'm still going to infuse what you guys are wanting, what your intention is for you. So if you're watching this as a replay, still pop in the chat, because it doesn't matter if you're watching it live or catching the replay on it. I channel everything through the Akash. We connect higher self to higher self, and it's only during the healing. And with the light language, it will be infused. I'm setting the intention that whatever your intention is for it, that's what you're going to receive. So someone said honor, abundance, acceptance. My Jupiter is also in Capricorn. That's cool. Be a receiver, safety, bliss. Gotta have some bliss. Contentment, abundance, love, joy, receiving. Okay. Sacred dragons. Yes, the dragons are coming, guys.
Oh gosh, I love it. Yeah, I love this audience, man.
That's awesome.
Knowledge is love.
Yes. So, do you want to talk a little bit, and then we'll wait for people to put them in, and then I'll do a little healing in a little bit? Or do you want me to do it now?
Yeah, no, I want to say, this is so fitting, you guys, because we had the square of the Sun and Gemini moon today, and also Mercury conjunct the Sun, and Mercury, Sun Cazimi. And so there's an opportunity for us to really receive languages, light language, Gemini moon, very much about communication, and to push through any challenging energies that are going on right now for the collective. I think we all have been instilled with the programming from the media, television, Neptune retrograde in Pisces, that causes confusion and truth on top of lie and this and that. And right now in the cosmos, there's a ton of earth energy to help ground us into this practical, logical, analytical mindset where wherever you have Virgo in your chart right now, the Sun and Mercury are there. And Mercury is retrograded the 15th of September. And, Jupiter and Uranus are now both retrograde in Taurus, and Pluto's retrograde in Capricorn. So there's 6 planets retrograde. And right now, the universe and God source energy is asking us all to get into our physical bodies and to check into our reality through introspection, right? All the earth signs are feminine, receiving, right? So be open to receive Amy's light language. Be open to receiving messages and downloads. The veil is very thin right now, right? The electric magnetic field, the solar flares, the earth, Gaia, really ascending to the 5D. Our cells and DNA are rapidly changing every day. So some of you may be going through different things of daydreams, reality, dreams, body aches, all this stuff. And you're not crazy. It's normal. A lot is going on in the collective right now.
There's so much going on.
Just breathe and get into your physical bodies, right? Because remember, we are these light soul beings, but we're having a physical 3D experience in these avatar suits, these bodies, right? And so it does mean that we need to get grounded in this earth. Don't just always go out to the ethers and stuff. All you Pisces folks, just bring it down, get grounded sometimes. It's important. But that's what the planets are screaming to us right now. Even Saturn retrograde in Pisces, healthy boundaries and discipline and structure in our lives.
Absolutely. Someone said it's too much. Really,
sometimes it is.
It really is.
It is. But fear nothing.
Yeah.
Fear nothing. You want the high frequencies, right? And I'm sure Amy will, get into this deeper, but we want the love, the gratitude, and the greatest currency. I always tell my audience, Amy, for the age of Aquarius, the greatest currency is being your true, authentic self.
Yeah.
And
I love that, Eric, because I think that, in the spiritual community, people want to reach outside of this human experience. And the thing is when we ground into Gaia, when we ground into Mother Earth, we're telling Mother Earth and we're telling all of the other multi-universes and all the other timelines, it's safe for me to be in this timeline.
Yes.
And yes, I'm still going to connect. And yes, I'm still okay with being multidimensional. However, I'm going to be in this timeline. I'm going to be in this space, and it's safe for me to be in this space, and it's safe for me to be human because we're choosing to be human at this moment in time. And so it's fascinating. And then I think that also, someone said that I'm having unusual body aches. That is like
That's what I said. Yeah.
Our human bodies are like upgrading, and we don't have to rush the process. And I think that's really important to say this, because I think that there's so many people that go out there and they're like, I need to do this healing, and this activation, do this and this and this. And what they're doing is they're overloading their system.
Yeah.
And so slow and steady is beautiful. And there is no race. Like there's no like competition on if I get there faster, I'll win this prize. No, if you get there faster, you might fry out your nervous system.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to like just take a step back and breathe. And it's okay if you have FOMO. and know that you are exactly where you're meant to be and divinely guided. And if you're being divinely guided to do something, do it because you're meant to do it, not because you're in fear of something.
Amen.
And the thing about, I think this, up leveling in consciousness is that we have to be really very protective of our human body, because our human body can only take so many system upgrades at once. And naturally, the planets are already doing these system upgrades for us. And so if we are taking care of our mind, body, soul, we get to also be the director of how that up leveling looks like, and we can do it safely. And I think that that's really important, because you don't need to fry out your system, and you don't need to have this what is it called, like a spiritual crisis. Like, you don't have
Right,
to have
right,
that
yeah.
experience. It can be slow and gentle, and it can integrate slow and gently as well. But
Right, because people could get to the panic attacks if they, like, especially if you start going down the rabbit holes and you're having your awakening and you just run away rejecting everything that you once knew in your past life of 3D reality, and I want to separate this and divorce that and leave this job and this and that. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. One step, one day at a time.
Mhm.
And Amy said it best, like, hey, we are in these containers on this earth. And so, I think one thing I know for me, and I'll speak to because it is Virgo season, I am like Virgo on steroids. I got like 7 planets in Virgo. And so trust me, you guys, I am such a work in progress every single day. And when I tell you I hug trees and I meditate and ground, I do it because it feels good and I need it and it works. But I need it, right? Because I guess in some ways, people say they're recovering Catholics. Well, I'm a recovering Virgo because I have stopped being overly self-critical of myself and others. Because I tell people with Virgos, for the most part, we want to help fix and repair, right? Virgo's about service, humanity, the wheat and the medicine. We want to help others. Virgos never try to break or tear other people down. I mean, maybe if they're like low vibrational, but just the intent in general is to be of service and to help. And I had to retire, and that's what I tell my clients, Amy, to retire from negative self-talk. Love
Yeah,
yourself, you guys.
absolutely.
And remember, your subconscious mind is listening. So don't gossip and don't talk smack about others and don't talk bad about yourself. If you are going shopping at the store and you forget to pick up something, you're not a fool or dummy or an idiot. It's just as my 3-year-old son used to say, Daddy, I made an accidente. It's just an accidente, okay? It's an accidente. And guess what? When you go back to the store later on that night or the next day, you don't know. It's an infinite amount of possibilities. That same item could be on sale. You may find 2 or 3 other things you wanted to purchase. You may have a conversation with someone that you learn or benefit from, or you may share your light or teach or help uplift someone else. So, like Amy said, you are where you're supposed to be. So give yourself compassion, grace, and mercy. And I know that's never really spoken about or taught in this world. We're so tough on ourselves and others, and we got to stop it.
Yeah, it's okay to be human. Like, it really is. And we're not striving for perfection. We're striving for experiences. And that's what is really important to know. Because I think that if we take a step back and it's like, how can I experience this day to its fullest? What does my body really need? Like, what does my mind really need? What does my soul really need? You'll get a completely different answer than if you're just stuck in your head all day. And I love that you talked about the your subconscious is always listening. Your subconscious can never take a joke. It does not know the difference between sarcasm and truth. It just takes it all as truth. And so you have to keep that in mind. That doesn't mean that you're not going to make a mistake. We have so many thoughts in the day that it's impossible to catch them all. But if you take a step back and you're like, why did I just say that? This is where I call it, it's like getting super curious. Like, why did I just say that? Or, oh, I keep saying those things. Like, how is that helping me? And how is it hindering me? Because if you're constantly saying something, even if you don't think it's that big of a deal, if you take a step back and you go, like, let's say you always say, I'm always late. Like, I'm always late. That's not really that big of a deal when you're saying that. But if you think about it, you are literally writing that into your reality that you are always late no matter what. And it's just always going to happen. And so what's happening internally to all the other parts of your being is they're stressing out and they're making sure that you're always late. So it's like once we start changing these things start really shifting. And the thing is, and I'm just hearing to say this again, we're not striving for perfection. We're striving for experiences. And that's what we're here to do, is we're experiencing life. We're experiencing humanness. And it's really cool opportunity that we get to experience at this moment in time, even though the world is super crazy right now. But like, we're going to see a massive shift. And it was funny because I remember like channeling things in 2018 where it's like something really big is going to happen in 2 years, like something big is going to happen. Never in a million years would I have guessed that it was going to be the pandemic or COVID or anything like that. Like, never. And so, you know, like, everybody's talking about this massive awakening that's going to occur within the next few years. And we have no idea what that even actually looks like. And so it's kind of mind-boggling to even wrap your head around, like, what is that going to look like? And I can't wait. I can't wait to show up with my popcorn.
Yeah, no, I know. I have some ideas with some of the transits. Uranus and Gemini in 25, 2026, Saturn and Neptune going into Aries, in your 7th house, my 6th house. I have some ideas, and you know, you guys could always go and watch my videos that they were
I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, they were channeled messages, and you know, but I think that it's funny. I lost the train of thought, but you were just talking about the perfection, and then perfection experience. And it's really an interesting thing because they're both sort of representative of the squares to Virgo. Virgo is the perfectionist, and that's the downfall. Over-analysis creates paralysis with Virgo. And that's what I had to relinquish and retire from. But then the experience is the square to it, either the Sagittarius experience, the freedom, the higher learning, the zooming out big picture, you know, adventures, travel, or the Gemini experience, which my lovely term of endearment for Geminis, and Geminis please don't take offense, because I love you, is the verbal slut. And I say that with truth, but with such respect, because Geminis are so gifted in the fact that they will get and receive, even though it's a masculine, mutable air sign, but they receive energy from the willingness to engage in experience and conversation with anyone and everyone. At the bank, the grocery store, the farmer's market, the homeless guy, the train, the bus, the Uber, the teacher, the car line. Geminis are brilliant, and that's why they know so much. They are truly the Jack and Jane of all trades. They are so gifted, I'm similar to that with Virgo with the Mercury, but it's different because I sit back and receive, and I analyze and assess more. So I'm in awe sometimes of the Gemini abilities and gifts and skills.
So do Geminis have like a really open throat chakra then?
It depends, because don't get me wrong, there can be shy Geminis. Every planetary placement and energy is different. But in general, because it's a masculine mutable air sign, they are more willing to exchange verbally and engage with others, and in terms of with information. Remember, they like the bite-sized information. So Gemini's like, you know, Twitter, now X, and in Sagittarius, it's like the long form of information. They're more like YouTube.
Yeah, well, cool. Yeah. I was like,
and Virgo, we're like WebMD. We're better than that. We're better than that. But
what's, you know what I mean? What's Aries?
Oh God, Aries. I guess if you're looking at the social medias, maybe Aries would be like Snapchat or something.
Oh, really?
Aries is like, because one thing about Aries, right, it's the childhood genius, where Aquarius is like the old sage wisdom genius. Aquarius is like the kids from 0 to 7, right? More in that like theta 5D state. And they are curious. And like Aries has to learn through the experience. They got to touch the fire. It's the cardinal fire sign. They have to touch the fire. And Aries doesn't want to hear the word no, right?
Never.
He doesn't want to hear somebody say, no, Amy, you can't. No, what do you mean no? I'm going to get my own job. I'm buying my own this, right? Aries doesn't like to hear the word no. And they learn through the experience. The ram, and you may not know this, a lot of Aries don't know this. The ram is actually, no, rams are like actually almost blind. And so they learn through banging into things head first. That's why they use their ram horns.
Cool.
So they know their self in space. And so Aries can be accident prone.
Yes.
Because they move and they're impulsive and they move so quickly, right? They initiate, they assert, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, ooh, take a breath. But that's also the gift. I was raised by an Aries. My father was an Aries, so I know you guys are magical to me.
So, if you are just hopping on and you're joining us, I'm about to do a healing, like a mini healing. And go ahead and type in the chat box, because I'm going to do some light language with it. And if you're new to light language is going to sound like a foreign language. It connects directly to your higher self. It pushes past the conscious mind to the subconscious mind. And every sound, every movement, every symbol holds paragraphs of information. Those paragraphs of information are like, we don't have human words for them. We have the essence of the words and we can kind of articulate it, but there's not human words for it. And so that's why I infuse light language in it. And so if you're wanting to have more peace, more bliss, more abundance, more joy, whatever it is, type it in the chat box. And I'm going to do this. Also, please make sure you're not driving or operating heavy machinery. And this is not to substitute medical advice. We want to just make sure that you practice safety too, because some people can go into a trance or fall asleep. And so we just want to practice safety. And you can lie down, sit up, stand up, however it is that you want to do it. And I mentioned this before, but I see that there's a bunch of new people on here. And so if you had, like, someone just said lightness, someone said bliss before, someone said blessed, whatever your word is, I'm setting the intention that the light language is infusing that word to be your intention. But the healing itself might be slightly different than your word, but the intention is there with the light language. So go ahead. You got your crystal.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, I just need to take a sip of water. I've been talking so much the last couple weeks. I just need lots of water. Okay, so go ahead and close your eyes, drop down into your heart space, sink into the sacred nectar of your being. And I want you to sense, feel, or imagine that there's a beautiful golden lotus flower that has pink iridescent and green tones to it. And I want you to step into this beautiful pink iridescent green lotus flower. And when you step in, I want you to notice the beautiful nectar inside the lotus flower. This is a part of you. This is the nectar, the honey of your soul. And I want you to take a sip. And when you take a sip, I want you to just allow it to be so sweet and tickle your taste buds. And I want you to breathe and savor this honey. And as you're breathing and savoring this honey, there's this beautiful golden light that starts to shower you with love. And as it's showering you with love, your grounding cord is rooting into Gaia. It's moving down through all the layers of the earth. And as it's moving down, it's moving to the center, which is a crystalline ball of energy. And I want you to plug your grounding cord into Gaia. And I want you to feel that honey move from the tongue all the way down your chakra system and into Gaia's heart chakra. So not only is she feeding you, you are blessing her with some sweetness, some love. And I want you to inhale, breathe her energy up into your body, into the cells of your body and being. And I want you to exhale. And I want you to breathe in and out with Gaia. And as you're breathing in and out with Gaia, I want you to imagine that beautiful golden light that's showering you with love starts to vibrate and penetrate through your auric field. And as it's penetrating through your auric field, it's sweeping and clearing anything that doesn't belong to you, anything that does not serve you, anything that's of a lower vibration, of a lower frequency, and it's washing it out, it's cleaning it out. Sukara sinemo tarahi sinemo tarakaha. Shinakaramu taraba tarasi turukumota batasine mumpa parasi mokamatasiaha. And then I want you to feel, sensory, imagine your crown of your chakra reaching up towards the sky, towards the heaven, towards the great I am. This is the masculine energy. And this energy is going to stream into you just like Gaia is streaming into you and creating a perfect balance of masculine and feminine. And I want you to feel this energy moving through your crown chakra so it opens you up to higher levels of consciousness, to dreams, to desires that are ready to come to fruition. I want you to feel your heart expanding. And then I want you to be bold and state a powerful intention that you would like to have. And so if you're wanting to embody more peace, state that as your intention. If you're wanting to embody more prosperity, state that as your intention. If you're wanting to feel lighter, more airy, state that. More grounded, state that. Whatever it is, go ahead and state it. And I want you to state it boldly and loudly so Creator, God, the universe, divinity, Gaia can hear it. And I want you to breathe this intention into all the cells of your body and being, and allow the light language to infuse your intention and amplify your intention, allowing it to send an echo out into the universe to bless you with that very thing. Suka tarabota kamatara sinamotara maha shinakaromotara ki sinimotara maha sunamotora kamatur karere sinimotara kaha shunamati sinamata toka patara sinituru mandikere sinimotara ha tirakaremu shinakaraha. And then what's going to happen is Gaia, she's going to send you a love message. This may come through as a feeling, a sensation, a memory. You might hear it, you might sense it, you might know it, you might see it, but she's going to send you a love message. And it might be related to your intention, it might not be. I want you to go ahead and receive that. And then you're going to thank her. And if you did not hear something or see something or feel something, know that it's being downloaded into your energy field for you to receive at the perfect moment. Toresi mokamatari nimutarkia samoha. And then I want you to take a nice deep breath in, a cleansing breath out. Bring your awareness back into your center of your chest. And take another nice deep breath in, cleansing breath out. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And whenever you're ready, blink your eyes open, taking your time coming back to. Eric has a nice big yawn, which means he has a nice big release.
That was so nice.
How are you feeling, Eric?
Well, it's so funny, right? We were talking before we came on the air, and it was just a busy day. A lot of different things with the family and my children, and father of 4 boys with 3 at home, and so I was a little, I don't want to say anxious, maybe just a little stressed before the show.
On edge.
So much going on.
Yeah.
That's kind of like feel like I just was able to kind of transmute all that and then kind of get centered. And now I kind of feel back within myself and consciously aware that there's nothing to worry about, there's nothing to stress, and that everything is good.
Yay,
You know,
I love that.
it's beautiful, and it's so fitting that you're on today and we're doing this because so today, you guys, it just so happens to be tonight, the 2-year anniversary of when I fell into a coma. September 6th. I went in the hospital August 29th. And so I guess in some ways it has been on my mind the last few days. And so it was maybe that was some of the underlying stress that I wasn't consciously thinking of.
Yeah.
But it was coming up unconsciously and subconsciously and in my dreams, definitely, the last few nights. So this just kind of really, because truth be told, I did not get a chance today to ground outside in nature by my tree like I like to do every day.
Mm-hmm.
I was busy all day. And so this was just perfect. Thank you.
Yay.
And centered me and really, you know.
I'm glad you feel better. And like, what a big anniversary. Like, that's huge, Eric. Like, it's very huge. And I think that sometimes when we have stuff like that, that's really big. The further we get away from it, the less it happens. But I think that, you know, it can be still, I call those the onion layers, you know, like we're still peeling back the onion layer on that particular trauma because that's a big deal. And that's the thing. It's like, you know, like I had a really traumatic pregnancy and I had to have emergency surgery at 20 weeks. And like, even to this, like I just had my 3-year anniversary in August with that. And it was just like, you know, last year was such a big deal, and then this year it wasn't as big of a deal. But let me tell you, I wouldn't want to go through that experience again. So it's like it's just one of those things where it you know, it's this part of us that's telling us like, hey, like, slow down, like there's something to look at here. So I'm curious to see what ends up coming up for you more with that too. People said thank you, wonderful, very powerful. Thank you for me. Glad you recovered, Eric. Subconscious stress is real for big anniversaries like that. I totally agree. This was awesome. Hit the like. Love it. Thank you.
Everyone, do us a favor. Please hit the like, share the video. But even more importantly, after the live is over, please go back and comment so it just grows in the algorithms of the YouTube world, right? And all that stuff. And we just greatly appreciate you and thank you all for coming tonight. But you're right, you know, and I think one thing that I really was there with you with the lotus and the honey, and then I could see that kind of light. For me, and I think it's been like this really a lot of my life, but my third eye has really always been very strong and very open. And so I can visualize, you know, and I know it can be challenging for some people, but I visualize
for sure
very easily. And I see things, and, you know, and so it's just really fascinating. And I mean, to literally like the golden light and the lotus and the honey, and then I just felt it like pouring, you know, through me and in me, and the grounding, and I just I can't get enough of that stuff. I really can't.
I love it. I'm going to just read a few more of your comments. They said, thank you. I heard Gaia. She comforted me and told me she was my mom and would always provide for me. The closer I am to her, the safer she can keep me. Thank you so much for helping me receive this message. I love that.
Yes.
Yay. Wow, can't believe it has been 2 years. Thank you. It was very centering and experience. Oh, wow. Feel so light. They felt really nice. And I yawned too. Yes, I yawned. That was beautiful. Yay. You're welcome, guys. Yeah. Let me know how this felt for you. And just so you guys know, if you experience where you're feeling a little tension, or if you are tired, or if something's coming up and you're agitated, that just means that something's moving out. And so if you are not having a blissful feeling, like some people that are sharing, that's okay. We never want to compare our experiences with anybody else's, because your experience is exactly what it's meant.
What you need, for each individual,
Someone said, I heard a song as my message. Amelia said, they told me we got this, and we can hear you, and we love you. Yeah. Blast came from the earth to the tailbone, all the way to the head and around. Bliss from somewhere up, waving in and towards the feet. Didn't imagine it actually come that way. Thank you. I love it, Max.
I love that. Well, wait, you guys, I want to share this. You know what, Amy, if you don't mind, one more placement that I think really just speaks to our experience. So Amy has the Cancer midheaven. Now, just so you guys understand, in astrology, the midheaven, I'm a Western tropical astrologer. I use the whole sign system. But the midheaven doesn't have to be in the 10th house. It can be in the 9th, 10th, 11th. If you were born near the equator or something like that, it could also be in the 12th or even the 7th, 8th house. But for most people that I've worked with, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients, mostly it'll be 9th, 10th, or 11th house. Amy's happens to be in the 10th house. So that makes the 10th house her workplace, work environment, career, yada, 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 legacy, reputation, right? How Amy's known in the world. And so having that Cancer there, I think we just experienced that, because the Cancer energy can be extremely intuitive, but in a different way from Pisces. It's not like that psychic intuition. It's more like the just sage wisdom, the deep inner knowing. But it's very caring and nurturing. And that's how I felt as you guided us through this, Amy. It was very like, it reminded me of one of my favorite aunts, may she rest in power. She was a Cancer, and she would just know what to say. And whether it was positive or, a little correcting and teaching, always just pierced right through you. And she never raised her voice. You know what I mean? And I've shared this on the show before, but it's so true. Like, she would just, say, good job, baby. Or, whatever. But you just felt so nurtured and cared for. And I can remember one time she said to me, boy, you are being so selfish. And I was like, oh my God.
Because what she meant, she said, that really took to heart.
And don't you know, I mean, because it was like, it was like one of my first jobs, and I bought like some chocolate fudge, but I didn't bring any fudge in the house for anybody else. My aunt, my uncle, my cousins. I just bought fudge for me. She was like, that's selfish. And I was like, oh my God, do you know, like that, like marked, and this was probably first job, 14. That marked my whole life in terms of always when I work, I always like to bestow gifts or share the fruits of my labor or things with people. And so it was just really powerful, and so for me, I guess I've always just felt like it's not nice to be selfish.
No.
And so, but I say all that to say that the Cancer midheaven, we just experienced that, you guys, because that was such a very pleasant and liberalizing, harmonious, guided meditation. And even I love your light language, because so for me, I speak in light language, but I always had just thought of it as, and I guess, it's obviously very much the same, very similar, but I, in 1999 became a born again Christian, and I was gifted from, God in the spiritual realm, and intercessory prayer and speaking in tongues.
Yes.
And so, and it's, very much the same as light language. And so for me, I found in my experience in life that when you are communicating that way, it's way better than anything you could say with your regular words.
There's
and
just
things move faster in the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
So.
And it's just one of those things where, for me, it's just like, it's the cherry on top of the cake.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of brings everything together, but it wouldn't work if there's not all these other components with it. And that's, for me, that's just how I operate. Like, I want to put all these components together with it. But it's the cherry on the cake that brings it all together, which is really neat to see and experience as well.
So I want to say, just so you guys know, we have Amy's website and her Instagram in the description, but I want for you to share all your contact information with everyone before we wrap up. But I also want you to, sort of give an invitation and explain to people how, the different ways that they can work with you through the Akashic, through the DNA activation, and even some of the shadow trauma work that you do. Because, hey, you guys, we've all been through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've all been through it, and it's never too late to heal the childhood wound, to face that shadow work and those traumas that are hidden. Some we're aware of, and some we've blocked out so well. So share with the audience, that work and best ways to connect with you.
Yeah, so I offer a lot of free resources. So if you go to my website, theamyrobeson.com, and you could click on the events and free resources page, or you can go to theamyrobeson.com/free. We have 20 plus free healings on there that you can sign up for. We just got done. I just got done hosting our Soul Evolution Masterclass series that you can still get access to. That's going to be available until the middle of this month. And that's all about the Akashic records. And our open enrollment right now is for Sacred Awakening. We have 50% off Sacred Awakening going on right now. So if you're interested in joining and learning how to open the records and open the records for other people, it's such a powerful tool that you can have in your toolbox. I have a podcast as well. It's called Awakening with Amy Robeson. I have a YouTube channel, Amy Robeson.
Go subscribe to her channel, you guys.
Yes, please subscribe. I would love it. We're also on Facebook group is Awakening with Amy Robeson. But I offer a lot of free things. And so like this Friday, we're going to be doing like a free group Akashic record reading. I'm either going to do it on Instagram or in my Facebook group. But I'm constantly doing stuff. Like this week, I did like, what did I do this week? I don't even know. Like, it's been crazy.
He's like, it wasn't me. It was my clone was just,
I did a group reading. I did a free, today I did a free abundance, prosperity, money healing.
Everybody loves the money talk.
Yeah, so I just did that. And so if you're interested, like you can go check out all those things on my in my Facebook group for sure. But if you sign up for the Soul Evolution Masterclass series on my website, you can get access to all the replays in the replay page. And if you go into my Facebook group and get access to it, like there's tons of like hours and hours of free resources that you can get access to. I mean, we just did like an ancestral healing and soul lineage healing. Like we did so many cool things in the last like 2 weeks because we have our open enrollment for Akashic records. My Akashic record course is called Sacred Awakening. And so like I love showcasing all the different things that you can do in the records. And it's such an amazing tool.
Let me ask you this about that. I know every practitioner, has their own way and their own gifts and niche. And for you with the Akashic, right, if I'm coming to you for a reading, do you tend to focus more on the galactic experience or on the different Earth experiences? Or
whatever serves the highest good.
Okay, so really, yeah.
Yeah, so like, for me, the Akashic Records is a life tool. And whatever's going to serve the highest good in that particular moment is what the masters, teachers, and loved ones are going to share. And then there's this false perception. There's not a false perception. There are many different teachers that teach the Akashic Records, and how they use them is perfect for them and perfect for their audience. But, for me, I want to use the records for the past, the present, and the future. I want to understand how to navigate life. I want to understand how to navigate my trauma and to heal my trauma. I also want to be able to go and do past life regressions and not glamorize past lives, because I want to know why I'm being taken there, what I can do with that information so I can heal it. Yeah. And so there's so many layers and so many ways the Akashic Records can be used. it just depends on how you're being guided to use them. And there are some people that teach nothing but like, I teach the galactic records, and someone might teach nothing but like human experiences or nothing but past life regression. It's all there. There's no difference. It's what serves your highest good, and because the masters, teachers, and loved ones are going to speak to you when you open up your records as a practitioner, in the way that you understand, not the way that they're not going to talk to me the way that Eric understands, because I'm not going to understand that. They're going to talk to me the way that I understand it, just like they're going to use analogies, examples, and experiences, Eric, for you, if you were to go into the records that you understand. And so they use lingo, words, examples, experiences that you get so that you can utilize it and go deeper. And the cool thing is about the Akashic records is they're evolving just like us. The way, even like every single time I teach this, something new comes up. The veil is so freaking thin now that the ancestors are just coming through, and they're coming through fast, and they have so much to say because they want to help the lineage. They want to help heal. They want to help us. And they're coming through at rapid speed. Like several years ago, I maybe would have like a few students and be like, my loved ones came in today. And now it's like, it's insane the amount of loved ones. And I'm just like, wow, that's cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I get to witness how they're evolving, because like I get to evolve with that as well. And I'm always just so curious what's coming forward, wants to be shared. Like I have channeled so many direct messages from the guardians, that this over the last couple of weeks, it's just crazy what they're wanting to say. And I'm always channeling messages no matter what, but it was like very specific.
Let me ask you, but before we end, is there anything you can sort of share for the audience in terms of, what we can expect, the rest of, we're in the home stretch of 2023, and people have some anxieties, questions, doubts, fears. Oh, is COVID coming back, and this and that, and my marriage and my kids, and my parents are getting older, all the life daily stuff. Have you received or tapped in or checked in, and what do you feel is on the kind of like on the agenda September to December?
So this is what the guardians are sharing. So I call them the guardians, or the masters, teachers, and loved ones. The second you asked that, Eric, this is what they showed me: a big, gigantic sun. The sun provides nourishment.
Wow.
The sun provides so many resources to us, and the earth depends on the sun. Mother Earth is like, please give me your love and let me give this bounty to everyone else, all of my children. And what they're saying is the sun is so important right now, that it's so important for us to be out in nature, to get our vitamin D, to connect with nature. Because if we're connecting with nature, we are going to remember our wholeness and not forget that we have access to so many resources, and there's an abundant amount of resources at our fingertips at all times. And they're saying that nature is so important, and the sun is so important. And they're saying when you feel like you're spinning out of control or you're having a bad day, you can literally go outside, or maybe you can't go outside. You can just picture you're sitting in a field, the sun is shining on your face, and you are just excited. The corners of your mouth is lifting, you're smiling, and there's just pure radiant sunshine shining upon you. You're not going to burn, you're not going to get sunburned, you're not going to get blistered, nothing's going to happen. But they're saying, what they're saying is just even like having that shift, like, ooh, the sun is nourishing me.
Yeah.
That little shift will instantly shift the cells in your body to let go of stress. Because even when I was talking about, you instantly started smiling. And when we start smiling, things start changing. And they're saying, bring nature inside. Bring nature inside. So like for me, I'm like a plant person. Like I love plants. I got plants everywhere. But you don't have to have plants. But like they're saying, bring nature inside. Maybe you get some fresh flowers. Maybe you have one plant that you take care of. Maybe you bring your crystals in. Crystals are outside things. There's so many things that you can do. And they're saying for anybody that's on a budget and you hear like I'm saying like you can get fresh flowers. You can go pick some fresh flowers outside in nature and you can dry them, make them dry herbs and just have them on your altar. And so that reminds you of nature. They're even saying like drawing a sunshine, incorporating yellows and oranges in, depending on if that's connecting to your energy. So like sometimes like that color might be too fiery for some people. So just depends. But the sun is the key. The sun is the key to peace, and the sun is the key to nourishment. And so if you remember that, it will also bring you back into the present moment. And so if you feel yourself spinning out of control, imagine a sun.
It's our vitality. I love it. I love it.
Anchor. And it's cool because I haven't had them say this before. And like it was instant, like the sun, that's what it is. And I'm being guys to share one more thing. Like my good friend, Dina, she'll always say, tap your nose if you want to be present. And they say your name. And like they're showing me like, tap your nose, be present, look up at the sun. Like, obviously practice sun safety, but they're saying just bring that in because it's going to shift.
Well, do you know they've scientifically proven that if you sun gaze at sunrise and sunset, that you won't burn, and it's allowing the sun activates your cells in your body and lets you know to integrate the rays of the sun for your melanin in your body.
That's awesome.
A lot of people wind up getting cancer because of the sunglasses and the sunscreen. So it can actually turn out to be overused and bad for us.
Yeah,
now, I'm not a medical doctor. I didn't say right. Exactly, tons of chemicals. Oh my God,
it's like the natural sunscreens.
Right, you do want a natural, yes, and that's the key. It is the chemicals, and and I always say, I'm not a doctor, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night. So, but try it. I always say, be open to trying new things because it might just work for you. You know? But I loved how you brought in the plants because that connects with your Mercury and Taurus in the 8th house. And I think that's the perfect way to end the show. I love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh. This was just delightful. Delightful.
Definitely was. I so appreciate you having me. And
now, give everybody, because I know we have the two different things. So the website is theamyrobeson.com. And then just share the IG and the YouTube again.
Amy Robeson is on YouTube, and then Instagram is amy.robeson is my handle. And you just make sure you put theamyrobeson.com if you look for me on my website. But everything's on there too. All my
all your socials on your website,
and things like that. Yeah, and I'd love to hear from you if you have any questions. Reach out. I'd love it. Someone said thanks, Eric and Amy, too, for your time.
Oh, thank you guys. We just love that. Listen. This is episode 161, and I still am honored and humbled every time when I click the button to start a show, and even one person showing up. It really, literally means the world to me because, Amy will tell you when we do these Instagrams or YouTubes or Facebook, right? It is for free. It is our time, but it is really to connect with you out there in the world. And sometimes I wish, as the technology advances, that like I could just like tap a screen and you guys could pop up and say like hi live, you know what I mean? Because I love the interaction with you guys, with human beings, and it means the world to me. So You guys continue to show up. We appreciate you. Please like, share, and subscribe this episode. Comment after it's over. And definitely reach out to Amy. You can see she's got a lot of love and light to share with the world. And I thank you for the work that you do. It's very important,
Thanks,
Amy.
Eric. It was so fun being on the show. And you are just like, I just love your astrology knowledge, because I learned some stuff tonight. Like, I love it. So
Good. Well, listen, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? And it's always that energy exchange that is always, to me, the most beneficial and fruitful experiences, you know, and I love learning, and I learned so much tonight in the exchange of knowledge, because let's not forget, knowledge is love.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody, have a great rest of your Wednesday night. Remember, Wednesday is the day of Mercury. So hopefully you did your emails and communications today, and great with Amy guiding us, and we did some breath work for the lungs. And tomorrow's Thursday, Jupiter. So Jupiter is a good time for you to share some of the wisdom and knowledge from tonight, and to even, you know, sign up, you know, take a class or some of Amy's stuff, or sign up for my coffee talk or my Astrology Foundations course coming up soon. So, you know what I mean? Think of Jupiter, which is now retrograde in Taurus. Be introspective. What are your values and self-worth, and how can you increase them? Right? So just hold on to that. Remember, Taurus is the physical body, material items, and your five senses. Right? So just tap in and like Amy said, get out there in nature, hug a tree, and enjoy the sun tomorrow. All right? All right, my friend, I look forward to connecting with you in the future. And I will let you guys know, because Amy and I are going to connect together in October.
Yes.
And I'll be on her show.
Yes, I'm very excited for it.
All right, so stay tuned. We will keep you updated and informed. And everybody have a wonderful evening. Episode 161, Knowledge is Love. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
All right, bye, you guys.